सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः। श्री अथर्वऋषये नमः। मण्डूकमहर्षये नमः। गौडपादाचार्यवर्याय नमः। आद्यशङ्करसद्गुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। अथ अथर्ववेदान्तर्गत माण्डूक्य उपनिषद शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ अथ अलाद शान्त्याख्य चतुर्थं प्रकरणम्। ॐ Salutations to the entire Upanishad Acharyas, our own Gurus and the Lord. For any achievement in the life of any field, efforts are definitely required, due efforts. Along with that, the entire knowledge, information about that field, that way of working and the goal we must have. But for both these things, to put effort and to have the clear knowledge of it, we have to apply ourselves to know them. And to apply ourselves to know them to a great extent, our mind and intellect have to become tuned to that. And before tuning ourselves to that, that required amount of calmness we have to gather in the mind, inspiration in the mind. And that can be done only when we free it from its wanderings and involvements in the unrealities or unnecessaries, unimportant things. If today we are not able to understand Upanishads deeply and not getting inspiration to do sadhana and reach it, it's only because of our weakness of our inner equipment, because of its own its own distraction, its own giving importance to the non-essentials. And this is what is the effect of Maya. We must understand where when we give a chance to it, by giving importance to the non-essentials, it makes us spend our not one life, not one day, but again lives and lives together also in something which is other than truth or reality. This we have to recognize and always be in that mood of the mind intellect as to how to make my mind intellect qualified enough, purified enough, so that it willingly, the inner equipment of ours is willingly pursuing this Adhyatmic sadhana in its true sense, in its strict sense, that we are not leaving any stone unturned, whether it is to become familiar with the mantras of the Upanishads, to know the literal meaning of the words of them, to know the entire meaning of the verse and what is its meaning in the total context how it is applicable to me in my Adhyatmic sadhana unfoldment. Now, when we that way pray to the Lord and try ourselves, become always aware of that, then slowly, steadily that will come. And as we are told in Bhagavad recently, evening class, in some because of some reasons, even if we get distracted from this ultimate path, health may be an issue, some obligations may come, some prarabdha may distract us, some important work may come. Let it happen. Or even our own inner tendencies pull us somewhere. Only though, like again, what is the main thing in life is come back to our own main track, the track of our spiritual sadhana. Come back to the track, come back to the track. Again, little bit we will walk. Again, some distraction will take us away. Again, you come back. When our focus is on coming back onto the track of studying the Upanishads and Shastras, track of trying to understand them, and track of making ourselves qualified to try to understand them, do sadhana and reach. Not coming back to the track is a problem. That's what we remember that saying of Gurudev. Fall, but don't fall like a stone, fall like a rubber ball, which after falling jumps with the double the speed and height. If a stone falls, then it won't move again. It will not rebound. But the rubber ball it rebounds. In that way, even if for some reason go out of track, again come back with double the force. And faith in the truth, faith in the guidance given towards the truth by Shastra and Guru, when that is maintained, definitely the required opening ups, and unfoldments start happening. What are the openings and unfoldments? More and more understanding and conviction about the truth, its presence, its grandeur, its glory, and it alone being the truth. These opening ups will happen. So too, the most important opening up which has to happen in our life is the life in which we are living now is not so great or important or real as we are thinking. We take it so great, important, real, therefore we are only in this world of entertainments, activities, results of activities. But if that opening happens, and this will happen only again by the grace of God and Guru, that in Bhagavata's language is called a Nirvedam. When that Nirveda happens, a healthy Nirveda, then our spiritual sadhana is unobstructed. The three ways of Nirveda are ourselves little contemplating, praying to the Lord to give us Nirveda. Third is slowly, consciously also we keep away from the things of the worldliness, which prompt the worldliness in us more and more. In these three things we do, that required Nirveda comes. That mind with Nirveda will fully involve in spirituality. It's like any day when you want to sit in puja. When the mind is Nirveda about anything other than puja, that mind you can employ to create love for puja and give knowledge of how to puja and practically do that and enjoy it. So that temporary Nirveda there. So too when you sit for japa, even now in the class, this 1 hour I'll steadily attend to every thought that's being given and try to grasp it and enhance my knowledge. Other than this I have no interest in anything for this 1 hour. This is called a very beautiful, most essential everyday Nirveda. With that mind prepared, you'll be so engrossed in this lecture, so deeply involved in listening to, that every word and every thought will be grasped. So, this is at the level of listening, understanding. So, too, when we are on the seat of inquiry or vicharana or contemplation, this half an hour I am just engaged in this contemplation about this mantra of these Upanishads to understand the subtle theme. More other than that, I am not going to involve in that. So, that type of nirveda when we have. So then the ultimate Nirveda when we have, then we will never be lacking the inspiration or effort to go toward the truth on the seat of Dhyanam. So these are the few things. And all said and done, again and again we should know the relentless, consistent, desire-oriented effort of ours. alone will push us in this path. Left to ourselves, all our back, our past, all our tendency, and all our habits, they will again take us toward the world, and they give all reasons, all justification. Oh, it's all Upanishad said but not understood. It is not required. World is so beautiful. We were having such a wonderful experiences. This is how, if we give a chance, the mind will pull us into the world. दे दिया चांस बस इट विल सी टू इट दैट वी जस्ट गो अवे फ्रॉम दिस वो मत देना बस अपने आप को बचाते रहना एंड दिस इज एसेंशियल very very essential if chance is given and not easy we have never said that adhyatmic sadhana is easy at every step it is tough to such an extent that even to get up early morning and coming and sitting in the class at 7:30 that first gross physical activity itself is difficult depending on our nature. Then every day maintaining that consistency and interest to listen. So tough it is. Because to fall or to indulge or to express through senses, etc., is so easy because it is habit and nature from so many lives. Withdrawing from all that pulls and pushes and focusing towards this something new, something substance, something unexplainable truth is like traveling or swimming opposite to the currents of the heavily flowing waters. When the water is flooding and you are swimming opposite direction, how tough it is. So too is spirituality, no doubt at all. And again, depending on our prayers and our prarabdhas and our grace of God and Guru, good moods come in our life of 1 month, 2 months, sometime 1 year, 2 years, sometime one day, today, where we are able to learn the knowledge, we are getting inspired, we try to do it also, we are able to do it also, we are able to see the result of it also. Again, the another occasions of the dominance of tamas rajas come in us, wherein we lose total interest only. To such an extent, we are surprised with ourselves. Is it me, the same one who was in the class and all study so sincere till last month? Suddenly, what happened to me? Nothing looks to be interesting. No sadhana. I just want to go back to my earlier normal life and be with my friends, family, relatives. That's such a maja maja. This is saja saja. Everybody will have to go through it. बट चौकन्ना रहना है प्रमाद नहीं करना don't give up don't be inadvertent even observe those moods also and study from them oh ये इस कारण से हुआ होगा if you can understand it remove that karana and install that karana which inspires us towards spirituality then it will help us and one of the technique is what keep some books of the inspiring gurus and masters who talk about the truth only. Whenever such going away from the track happens, read for 1 hour, 2 hours, or not 10, 15 minutes like that, 3, 4 times a day. Then again the mood can come back. More tougher practice is what's happening to me? How can I go toward that earlier old ruts of life? I am spiritual now. I have chosen to this. I have to travel in this life at least some distance. I can't give up. No, no. Like that, when we give self auto suggestions, that also will help. So, all this put together is spiritual understanding, spiritual practice. And then we, from last 2 years, putting all our efforts, which are possible to us, though they are not sufficient enough, but we are going through each of the Upanishad. Now, in this fag end of Mandukya Upanishad, we have reached the ALAATHA Shanti. Here, the Gaudapada Karika Kara is not only giving the summary of the whatever is taught earlier, but also is giving precautions and is giving us tips for sadhana. More than all that, with all the loving kindness, he is trying to inspire us. To the summarization of the past and then inspiration given to us, the tips that are given to us, encouragement, all of them are there in the last 15-20 slokas, of which we have reached up to this 87. We saw yesterday the great mantra. 85 is Prapya Sarvagnatam Krutsnam Brahmanyam Padamavyayam Anapannadi Madhyantam Imataha param ihate. No, for the one who is fully delving or dwelling only in the study of Upanishad from morning till evening, from the beginning for some months, his mood will be totally different. And to that person, these shlokas are addressed, and his what he means, what he will catch out of these shlokas is something very deep, very sublime, very beautiful. And if someone is distracted minded, insincere, irregular, and unable, not able to catch it, he may not feel that much benefit. But for a person who is fully engrossed himself in search of truth through the study of Upanishad, उनके लिए तो ये $1,000,000 points. He says, प्राप्य सर्वज्ञताम कृत्स्नाम. Having discovered that sarvadruk sthiti, as said in the earlier mantra, sarvagna means that which is all in all, one without second. Sarva is everything. Jna means knowing it. Krishna means doubtlessly. When you have doubtlessly on the seat of your own dhyanam experienced that state of your own being, which is sarva and which is jna. Sarva means everything, jna means consciousness. What it means, like to put in our layman's language, that everything is one, and that one is consciousness, and that one consciousness is me. And that consciousness is ease, therefore it is exist. It doesn't appeal that much when we say, because our mind intellects are not so sharp to delve in that. These are only habituated to only talk about the substantial things which are perceived through the senses and mind. Is it not emotions of mind? Then the objects of senses. Only these are the things our inner equipments are familiar to know till now. So to that our mind intellect, if such words are said, Prapya Sarvagnatam Krutsna means having reached to that state of being in your own identity, which is everything and consciousness. लगता है कि इसमें कोई मीनिंग ही नहीं है सेंटेंस में, बट दिस इज द अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ. What is the Krutznam Sarvagnatam? All the multiplicity is Dvaita, all Dvaita multiplicity is only Abhasa, and what is true is one self alone, and that is pure existing consciousness, and that is me. That's what is said Brahmanyam Padam. That's called the Brahma Pada. Advayam, in that experience, all may be seen through Padi, but none of them are accepted as different from each other, nor they are accepted as real. All of them are understood to be the projections of Padi, and what is on which it is all projected is one self only. That is Advayam. और जब अनुभव मिलता है तो तभी वो हंसी आ जाती है कि ये था वो, मैं तो क्या क्या समझ रहा था. Brahmanyam Padam Advayam. Then what will happen? And also this Sarvagna Sthiti, which is Brahmanya Sthiti, which is Advaya Sthiti, has one more thing to say. Anapanna Adi Madhyantam. That which is so eternally there beyond the time that it cannot be talked as having Adi, Madhya and Anta. Except him, everything has Adi, Madhya, Anta. He is Anadi, Ananta. And in Madhya, at our own ignorance level because of Maya, on that only we can imagine this entire infinitely looking world of manyness or multiplicity. Always remember these examples again and again till the understanding becomes subtle. The example of dream, the example of movie. Very essential. They are the only ones which will help us to understand what the Vedanta is saying. Especially the dream. Such a variety of things appear to be so real that we involve in them and seemingly get all variety of experiences also. But as long as only we are when we are in dream. The moment we wake up from it, what's the position of that? This example is so important to analyze again and again for creating that belief that same like the dream is the entire world. Right now it is appearing so real that I am involving in it, and seemingly I am getting all experience of sukha dukkha labha ityadi dvandva. But there is a state, like from the dream standpoint, there is a state different from it called as waking, in which dream is null and void. So too there is a state of being the self, in which all this, which is seemingly so real now, so important now, so sukha giving now, is found to be absolutely zero. It was in fact never born, it is never there, it need not be removed also. Discover that it is not, it was not there, enough, it will go away. That's called as anapannadi madhyantam. So to the example of movie. Nowadays for us latest. That everything is shown in that, but nothing is real in that. It all is appearance. So too, because of ignorance on the self, the entire world of multiplicity is appearing, which we are taking as so real that we are caught up in that. That's called samsara. That is the cause of that samsara is our own delusion and illusion, and that is because of ignorance. So, a sincere seeker's attempt would be to see the real truth behind all this movie which is projected on the curtain of the mind. Though it's a very long journey, it can be cut short when we totally dedicate exclusively for only that purpose. In this life of ours, we are only given information about the possibility of that state of experience, which is beyond this seemingly looking true world of manyness. Life after the life, again and again, when we listen to the guru, same thing, slowly the interest in that grows. And why, even though we are not immediately realizing that we must expose to this knowledge regularly, because if not, not only we forget the possibility of this, but we'll get more and more bound in the world with more and more katrutva bhava and karma phala sakti, leading to janma bandhana. It goes on for eternity. If you start now, if you start now, it may take 1,000 lives, but the 1,000 life we may become saintly at that time by knowing the truth on the seat of meditation. Na? सो तो 1,000 जन्म के बाद होने वाला आत्मानुभव रूपी मुक्ति के लिए शुरुआत अभी करना। नहीं करोगे तो हजारों सृष्टि प्रलय होंगे। वी कंटिन्यू टू बी दिस जीवा ओनली। इफ यू चूज लाइक दैट, नॉट इवन गॉड विल स्टॉप। Vedanta is not a compulsion, spiritual sadhana. It only tells you the possibility of it. Thereafter, it is our choice. If you really choose, I want to taste that experience, then we say it's not immediate, it is Bahunam Janmanamante. But that also will be possible when from now on, every life, you are keeping on adding to the information, to the knowledge, to the conviction, in and also in every life, move at least few steps away from the worldliness toward the God. At least if we can understand that it is mithya and unreal, it need not be given so much importance. Even if the thought starts, slowly that becomes a gigantic tree to give us that required nirveda, which we spoke about in the introduction, today's introduction. At least this much we can achieve. Even in that also, at least from the non-essentials, the binding things, the unnecessary indulgences or attachments, if we can get nirveda, that is also an achievement. So little nirveda here, little inspiration for this. Little nirveda for this, inspiration. Nirveda should pull us away from that, inspiration should put us on that. This is what we were doing from many lives. This is the first time that you are listening to shastras, going to temple, doing your effort of sitting for meditation or puja japa. हर जन्म में थोड़ा थोड़ा करते आए और उसको ही भी इस जन्म में और थोड़ा में ऐड कर रहे हैं. You understand? It's a continuous thing. I also might have spoken on shastra or listened on shastra in the earlier life. To this life, little more we are adding. And in this one life of 8 years, along with 80, 90, 100, with so many of prarabdhas and temptation, attraction, only this much prosperity or growth is possible. अब ले लो उसको खुशी से, मैं ज़्यादा चाहता हूँ, तो देन कोशिश करो। हर जगह पे अपने आप को बदलने से फिर आपको इसमें ज़्यादा करने का मौका मिलेगा, पाने का भी मौका मिलेगा। We have to totally transform personality right from our eating food, sleeping habits, meeting the people. ये सारा हम लाइट लेने से साधना बहुत हल्का होगा. If you genuinely seriously give importance to them and drop whatever to be dropped, then our sadhana can be more strong. Like our own classes example, along with morning evening classes, other than the classes, nowhere we are studying shastra and continuously our mind is wandering only in the worldliness, then the shastra will be only that much effective to give us a trupti that we studied them. Neither the knowledge will come, nor inspiration will come, nor the clarity will be there, nor we will enter into those higher deeper inquiries and studies. But on the other hand, if one among us or some among us or every one of us also give detach from all these things slowly and give more importance sincerity to the study, is it not, then the depth will be different. This is an example of our study. स्टडी तो कर रहे हैं बट दिन भर बाकी दुनियादारी में है, तो वट एवर सात्विकता और कन्विक्शन वी गॉट आउट ऑफ स्टडी इज न्यूट्रलाइज्ड इन अवर दट rajas and tamas. But if somebody is very serious, he will not allow it. किसी कीमत पर, for every cost, I am not allowing myself to enter into the agitations of mind by being with the things and beings around unnecessarily. Minimize it. ये यहाँ रहकर नहीं होता है क्योंकि कुछ ना कुछ obligation will come. That is why they used to give up everything and go into forest. Now you understand the need of true genuine sannyas, not dress changing and all that. True and genuine sannyas, then only we can gather our distracted minds, raise and focus them on the theme which we are already studying, to study which we are already given an opportunity and blessings. Little bit we have done to the extent of giving time and giving little mind. Therefore, we are able to attend class. But attending class or studying or speaking is not understanding completely. No, it's not total conviction. No, it is not applying ourselves. It is not reaching the self. थोड़ा इसको भी ऐड कर लेना. So anyway, all that put together. So प्राप्य सर्वज्ञताम कृष्णाम ब्राह्मण्यम पदमद्वयम अनापन्नादि मध्यांतम. Such person, Are Baba, once you have achieved that Brahmanya Pada, Anadi Madhyanta Pada, Advaya Pada, Sarvajnata. Sarvajna is not knowing physics, chemistry and all. Sarvajna is knowing the substratum of everything. After that, Kimatah Paramihate. After that, what is there for reach? What is there remaining for us to gain? Therefore, what is there remaining for us to desire for? And what is there remaining for us to work for? कुछ पाने का नहीं होगा, कुछ कामना भी नहीं होगा उसके लिए और कोई प्रयत्न भी नहीं होगा. That is the meaning of किम अतः परम ईहते. And that level of sublime, deepest experience, which you might have gathered after hundreds of lives, from that standpoint, Karika Kara is telling us. His experience is telling, yeah, I was also like you, now I reached this. Having reached this and I look back, there's nothing to be gained, there's nothing to be desired, therefore there's nothing to be worked for. Kimata paramihate. अब क्या है? And then anything other than this pursuit is a lower level only. You may try it, you may get it. Even you becoming Indra, Brahma, Adi also are great, but not as great as this. Prapya sarvagnatam krusnam brahmanyam padam advayam anapannadi madhyantam kimatah param. This is how we have to feel the meaning of these shlokas. There's nothing more to be desired or worked for or achieved, but achieve this one. And this is what is done through all this. We have sharpened our intellect. That sharp intellect is used with faith to study what is said by the Guru on the basis of Shastra. And after studying that same sharp intellect, we are using to bring that logical thinking by which all that with which we are holding on to, that is dropped. The whole holding is only in the concepts of the mind, in the the concepts and conceivings of the mind, and its unnecessary convictions. They are all loosened and gone. So sharpen the intellect, study Shastra, gain the matter. With that, use the intellect sharpness for doing the logical thinking and all. And in that, slowly the clarity starts coming. See, if you remember the example of Alatha, if that Alatha example is studied 5, 6, 7 times, don't we become very subtle enough, at least to understand the example first of all, that it is appearing but it is not real. It has no substance in it. It's only the movement of the alatha gave the appearance of the Rujuvakra Abhasa. It itself is a breakthrough. The understanding the example itself is a breakthrough, which will give us the possibility of what is said in the Shastra as right for us. Then only we pursue it. That's how that specific example was brought by कारिकाकार. He understands कि ऐसा एग्जाम्पल अगर समझ पाया बंदा, तो जो तत्व उपनिषद में बता रहे हैं वो भी समझने का गुंजाइश चांस है. See, all the avasas are there, but they are not real. They are appearing, they are seen, but they are not real. So to the entire world is how much or real it is appearing. It is appearance only. It is unreal to such an extent that in that ekameva dvayam brahma neha nana dvayam asti kinchana also. Just like in those alata, ruju vakra abhas, not even little of the ruju and vakratas are there. In today's world, the example is of the series bulbs. Through series bulbs, you made some letters appear or some picture. किसी देवता का पिक्चर का हो, कोई डिजाइन आपने बनाया. In that appearance, the design is actually not there. Let us say you made a triangle with the series bulbs. So in that appearance of the triangle is not at all there. You understand? Like the same way in the appearance of the world, if you deeply inquire patiently, the world is not at all there. What is there is truth only. It was not comprehended. Therefore, all this is imagined. Alatha example gives such a beautiful thing, that logic. But all said and done, what I said, two things remember. One, the intense desire to know and experience the truth. Two, second, slowly toward the earlier worldly life, Nirveda. When these two are there, then our sadhana pursuit becomes very pakka. So having said this, Kimata Paramiyate is very important sentence. Ki, what else he has to do? Nothing else to do because nothing else to be achieved. But if he is in Vyavahara, then he must be at least having some values, some kindnesses, some compassions. He should at least the senses level serve the world, at the mind level feel the pityness to the people, love to the people, kindness to the people, concern to the people, as well as readiness or effort or ability to control his own mind. तो यहाँ शमदम का जो बात हुआ, जो हम कल 2 दिन से देख रहे थे, द शमदम आदि मीन्स द कंट्रोल ऑफ माइंड. Control of the mind is literal meaning. It also includes, can that saint should not have the love, the kindness, the compassion, the helping nature. ये सब शम में आते हैं. So to dhamma means whatever he has got, sharing with others, not indulging himself. At least these things he has to do, no? Because after all, they are saintly lakshanas. How can you say Kim Atap Paramihate? Yeah, regarding sadhana, you may have not to do anything because he reached out the siddhi. वो तो मिल गया हम मानते हैं, बट कुछ भी नहीं है करने को. हाउ कैन यू से ही शुड कंट्रोल हिज माइंड, यूज द माइंड इन सर्विस ऑफ वर्ल्ड. ही शुड कंट्रोल हिज सेंसेस एंड यूज द सेंसेस इन द वर्ल्ड्स सर्विस. तो शमदम तो होगा ना. No, that was so tactfully, intelligently answered by Karikakara. Only a bhakta of Karikakara will be able to catch him through those words or catch the sublime theme. Very interesting. He has poured his love, his logic, his subtlety, all of them in this shloka. मजेदार है, मजेदार हो मतलब वो डिफरेंट मूड. कुछ कुछ चीजें ऐसे होते हैं ना, आपको उस लेवल पे जाना है तभी उसका अनुभव आएगा. इट कैन नॉट कन्वेड ओनली. Even though it is felt and experienced, you can't convey. One of them is this shloka. What he says is Vipranam vinayo heshaha shamaha prakruta uchyate damaha prakriti dham tatvad evam vidvan shamam brajet. So yesterday we were seeing this कि shamadamadi for this sadhaka asiddha purusha brahmagnani are naturally inherent in his experience. He need not put effort to have the shamadama quality. Rather, the definition of shamadama have come from his own lifestyle. The writings in Shastras about all the Shamadama, they have come after observing such a realized saint only. He is the authority for them. He need not do them. They are natural to him. Means what? All the, as I said just now, the meaning of Shama, the love, the compassion, the concern, etc. For him, he need not practice them. Forgiveness and all. Why? Because when he has seen everyone as his own self, what qualities you are mentioning as Shama are the ones we apply on ourselves. We want to love ourselves. We want to be forgiven. We want to be given all the help. हम तो अपने आप को ये सब चाहते हैं ना. Then when I see myself everywhere, obviously I love everyone because I love myself. I serve everyone because I serve myself. I forgive everyone because I forgive myself. And everyone is me, it is recognized. No. There were all the values, all the samadhi, the control of mind. They are natural for him. स्वाभाविक है वो, करने की जरूरत नहीं वो. Even at the Vyavahara level, when you have that friendliness, I mean, undisturbed friendliness, faithful friendliness, strong friendliness, don't you do everything to your friend which you do to yourself? Of love, of the service, of the help, etc. They are all Shamadama. Shamadama is not non-using of mind and senses. Mind and senses pulled from the negativities applied in the positive is Shamadama. So the parents do for children, the friends do for the friends. व्यवहार में ही जब जब एक एकता आ जाती है आत्मीयता, then you are able to express all those divine good quality. When one recognizes himself everywhere, remember, hypothetically imagine करो, हर चीज मैं ही हूं, तुम्हें मेरे से प्यार ही एक्सप्रेस होगा, सेवा ही एक्सप्रेस होगा, नेचुरल रहेगा वो. That's what the feeling he is trying to create to us. Viprana vinyo heshaha shamaha prakruta uchyate damaha prakriti dhantatvad evam vidwan shamam brajeda. This is how a vidwan is always in shamadama. He need not put extra efforts because Vipranam first thing is vinayaha. He cannot be arrogant. He cannot be angry. He cannot be with the thought of punishment or taking revenge. He can never have. He will only have the quality of vinayata. Because मैं ही हूँ वो. Yesterday we discussed elaborately this one. I know that. देखो एक बंदा मेरे से अलग है और वो नाटक कर रहा है और मैं इससे बड़ा हूँ, तो मैं उसके सामने रुबाब जमाता हूँ, है ना, कुछ उर्दू के शब्द, है ना. When you have your children or somebody at home, you try to dominate them. When you are all alone, क्या करोगे? चुप कर बैठ कर, you very vinaya, humble, you are there doing your own work. Because nobody is there for me to dominate, for me to scold. कोई है ही नहीं है. Then what is that feeling where there is no scolding or domination? It's called vinaya. When you are all alone, so जो बंदा जो इतना aggressively सबसे लड़ता है, कोई है ही नहीं मानो. Nobody has, he will not fight with himself. यार वो vinaya. Understood? Then apply same. In the experience of the self, self alone is there everywhere. Though no thing is there other than me, therefore the Vinaya will be there expressed through me. Vinaya is one name. In that all qualities come. In that humbleness, Vinayata, the acceptance, the tolerance, the forgiveness, the trying to give the help, protection. ये सारे विनय के extended लक्षण है. that all will be natural to him. Vipranam Vinaya Esha. And this Vinaya of the Vipra itself is more than Shama. Shama and more than Shama. And this Shama of the Vipra or the Brahmagnani, which is because of his tendency of being Vinaya, is what Prakrutha Uchyate. It is natural. It is not Krutaka. It is not act. He need not manipulate. He need not show off. No, I feel this श्लोक is so beautiful. कभी कभी बातों में हम बता ही नहीं सकते. You and I are taught forgive others, love others, help others, and to listen to that also it is irritating to us. And to accept तो हो ही नहीं सकता कि how can I love that stupid fellow who cheated me, who troubled me. आप रियली करो जब कहते हैं ना, इतना इम्पॉसिबल नहीं होता है, कर ही नहीं पाते हमसे. बट ए ब्रह्मज्ञानी, he need not put effort only. So it's a beautiful feeling that all these struggles which we feel when at the ignorance level we are told to love or forgive and help, for him it is so natural. Prakrutah uchyate. Vipranam vinaya yesha. In other words, opposite आप देखोगे, the more vinaya, humbleness we develop in us, the strong serpent-headed hooded ego gets dissolved. In the dissolution of the ego, the total individuality called Bhagwan comes to our cognition, our experience. देखो, परमात्मा ज्ञानी विनयता से रहता है, तो जिसको विनयता बढ़ता रहता है वो ज्ञान भक्ति के लायक होकर सर्वव्यापक परमात्मा का दर्शन कर पाएगा. So the vinaya of being humble and taking care of world, serving world, loving world, and the things called Shamadhamadi are not a compulsory rules for a Brahmagnani. Then they're all effortless, natural expressions. Now imagine, though it's not in the topic, imagine that great saint. He himself realized self. Therefore, he has nothing from the world to expect. Therefore, he is not a liability or burden to the world. Second, because he experiences self everywhere, he is naturally expressing all the love, kindness, and service. Nothing is expecting. How beautiful would be the presence of that person. Prakruta Shama is God. Oh, padya, no? The great, all saints are of this type only. Sages, gurus, Mahatmas. Viprana, Vinayesha. With such people, the world should be filled. One filling up we can do when we ourselves become that. यार इस जगत में ना कोई इश्यू बनाने का कोई चीज नहीं है, लड़ने का कोई कारण नहीं है. इन सब को हमें फेंकना है पूरा एक पॉइजन के रूप में समझकर. In a lovely life of viprata, vinayata, let us conduct ourselves. Which is very tough, I know, in this world of ego. Even if we don't want to have ego, the other fellow's egoistic behavior tempts and prompts me and instigates me to become egoistic. It happens to us when we are in our study meditation. There we understand that ego also is an object, it is not me, the self. Therefore, we try to detach from it. But suddenly the people are around, they instigate in such a way that we become ego to react only. कोई भी साधना करने वालों को भी हो जाता है, मुश्किल है, बट नॉट इम्पॉसिबल. कोई बात नहीं, किसी ने कुछ कहा कोई बात नहीं, किसी ने कुछ किया है कोई बात नहीं. नहीं क्या हो, तू जान ले रहा है मेरे को, जान कोई ले सकता है, बोलो मेरी जान. जान तो कोई लेने देने का थोड़ी है वो. Nobody can take away my life, My life is, I am life only. He'll take away the body by destroying it, but मैं तो कंटिन्यू करता हूँ. ऐसे कुछ विचार करते करते ना विनयता को प्राप्त करना है हमको. The Vinaya person's expression is what? His heart is so light. The world is so not a problem to him. He is no more a problem to anyone. Vinaya. Ha ha. He never makes any issues. Is it not? ठीक है, चलता है, he says. No, if it is a disciple and disciple has to do some seva and sadhana, that fellow is not done, and he is accepted the guru as guru, guru also accepts. In that case, he may scold him. He may try to teach him or educate him. That is that particular conditional relation of guru shishyata. But in general, like you can see Gurudev's example, those who have committed to be his disciples, and if he also accepts them, he's so a toughest taskmaster, strict. That's a different relative condition. But in general, when he is with the common people who have not accepted me as a guru or all, he's so loving, jovial, vinaya. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? कुछ नहीं. In the Guru Shishya relation, if he accepts him as Guru and Guru accepts him and he wants to learn from the Guru, and further he totally surrendered. Luckily आप बच गए कि you have not invoked the taskmaster in me, because no surrender at all. Otherwise, at every word level, thought level, action level, the strict Guru will ragad ke will straighten the disciple. Right from the grossest things of our behavior and etiquettes and our common senses. Everything has to be refreshed and refined. Guru will do all that for the then only Paripakva. Now, when you see Gurudev in such a perfection, how much he allowed his both the gurus of Tapon Maharaj and Shivaranji Maharaj to mold him. Unless he surrenders, they would have not trained him. He surrendered, allowed them to train, and he got trained also. Otherwise, such a perfection in every aspect will not come. So too, if a disciple surrenders to Guru, Guru does that. If it doesn't do, ठीक है, विप्राणा विनय. I'm just trying to explain the Brahmagyan is Vinayata. क्या है फर्क? Well, world itself is unreal. And somebody is saying something, doing, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? कुछ परमानेंट ही नहीं है. कुछ रियल ही नहीं है. What is to value about it? He's in such a mood of relaxation for himself, and whoever comes around him, relax. I'm not able to put it in words, but that is how it looks like. Viprana vinayo hyeshaha shamaha prakruta uchyate means a Brahmagnani is by nature, which is Vinayavan, by nature is Shama. He need not do the Shamadhi sadhana also. Therefore, Kimata Paramihate, when I said, and you questioned me, you should have some Shamadama. I am saying, uski bhi zarurat nahi. Because he is himself everywhere, he is in the Vinayata. That Vinayata brings the all good qualities that are there in the Shama. A Shama Vyakti is Shanta, and Shanta Vyakti loves all, forgives all, because he is valuing the Shanti of the mind, accepts all, helps all. Because if he doesn't help, his mind gets disturbed, therefore he helps. Shama is not holding the mind only. That is in Viveka Vairagya Shabdama example. In that here, Shama means the mind is controlled, mind is divinized, beautified. Such mind is utilized in the service of the world. That is called Shama. For a Brahmagnani, it is natural. Therefore, that effort to bring Shama is not required. Therefore, Kimata Paramiyate is justified. He is explaining what he said as Kimata Paramiyate in further slokas. Himself becoming like a disciple and asking, Shamadam to karna chahiye. Zarurat nahi. So, Shama is explained. Shama is the beauty of the mind with which his presence becomes an asset to console the people, to love the people, to serve the people. Shama ho gaya. Second one is Damaha. What is Damaha? Damaha Prakriti Dantatvat. देखो, Indriyas go into the world of objects. Only in the condition when the objects are taken as real and Indriyas also are taken as real. अब ये आत्मज्ञानी तो merged everything in Prakriti and dropped the Prakriti in the experience of the self. Therefore, from this side, his Indriyas also not real. From that side, the Indriya Vastus are also not real. You understand? Then for him, the Dhamma is natural in his understanding itself, that the objects depend on senses, senses depend on the mind depends on consciousness, conscious self alone is real, the mind, senses, the objects of world called Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasangandha are unreal. In the Jnanam itself, the Dhamma is practiced by him. Dhamma expresses through him. Dhamma Prakriti Dantatvat. What is the Prakriti Dantattva here? He, the entire world as of senses in me as a perceiving instruments, and the names and forms in the world as a perceivable things. So they are from the Prakriti, from the Maya they are. Maya is unreal. अब उसमें जबरदस्ती इंद्रियों का दमन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. You won't control a horse in a movie because you know it is unreal. Even if you try, you cannot, because you can't even hold that fellow. In the same way, a jnani, when in his deepest understanding of logic and meditation, dissolved the grossnesses into subtleties. Entire gross is nothing but the Prakriti only. Prakriti is not independent of Purusha. He is independent Purusha already. We said, therefore, the Dhamma जो है प्रकृति दान तत्वात् वो अपने आप पे हो जाते हैं वो भी. In this way, a Vidwan is naturally in Shama and Dhamma. Shama because he discovers himself everywhere, therefore, the good quality of Shama are naturally expressing. Dhamma, the Indriyas and objects both are understood and real, therefore, there is no importance given to them, that itself is sufficient for being Dhamma, being a controller of the senses. देखो ये वस्तु है, इंद्रियां भाग रहे हैं, तब जाकर यू हैव टू कंट्रोल द इंद्रिया. इज इट नॉट? There is a sweet. My tongue is craving for it. Then I tell the tongue, don't eat, you are already diabetic patient, you will die, you will die. So I'm putting all the efforts to control my tongue from its taste for the sweet. ये दमनम कहते हैं. So to I want to see this and that. I say not good, it will spoil your mind, don't see. So I'm trying to control the I. But in the Vedantic Vichar, when it is known that all this world is made of a Panchamahabhuta, they are made of Tanmatra, they are made of Samishti Ahankara, they are made of the Mahatattva, it is from the Vyakrita, and that all is only a drama in the ignorance of the real self. When the self is realized, none of them are there. If one is in that perfection of knowledge, what is there for him to do, Dhamma? What here Karikakara is saying is very high level. This is toward the end of the Upanishad. यहाँ तो later बातें थोड़ी होंगे. Very high dose of thought. Clear? Then Vipranam Brahmanana Vinayaha Vinitatvam Swabhavikam Yad Etato Atmaswarupena Avasthanam. आत्म तादात्म्य छोड़कर, when I become anatma jiva, then only I'll see the other jivas other than me. Then because of comparison and all, there is a guilty consciousness or arrogance will come. Somebody is lower than me, arrogance to me. Somebody higher than me, then feeling of inferiority. At that level of ego only, these disparities leading to this samsara will be there. But when all have dissolved, only Atma Vastu is one without second is discovered, specified ego is not there, then others are not seen as another egos. Therefore, there is no suppression, depression, or feeling of lowness about oneself. There is no arrogance that I am greater than others, nor the sense of lowness than others. होगा ही नहीं उनको, क्यों कोई है ही नहीं को मेरे से अलग. But it's not easy as said. It only when we realize the self. For that one self beyond. For that, all this gross, subtle, everything we have to offer as an oblation. That will be told to us in the next 7-8 shlokas as sadhana to reach to this state. Then he says, Eshaha eva prakrutaha swabhavika akrutaka uchyate. So that Vinaya itself is Shama, that Shama is Prakrita, it is not created. Dhamma api esha eva prakriti dantatvat svabhavata eva cha upashanta rupatvat brahmana. In the effort of knowing the truth, remember, already has controlled the senses, transcend the senses, there was special Dhamma karne ki zarurat hi nahi. Is it not? Because while going to the other shores of the river, he has swim through. After swimming through the river, he need not take bath, क्योंकि स्विमिंग करते करते नहाना हो गया. होगी की बात नहीं है. उसमें से रेत लेकर तो रगड़ भी लिया, साबुन की भी जरूरत नहीं है. You understand that? When you have crossed the river while swimming, the bath is over. But it is not applicable when it rains. बारिश हो गया फिर मैं नहा लिया, ऐसा मत सोचना, वहाँ वैलिड नहीं. In the same way, in the pursuit of self itself, we have quietened the senses through the logic, through so many reasonings that the objects are unreal, etc. अब फिर स्पेशली दमा करने की जरूरत नहीं है. For you and me to reach the self, shamadam are the first basic sadhana. Without that, you can't be sufficient humble enough at the feet of Guru, then you will never be a listener. Yesterday I spoke about this in the evening class, if you remember. First, you have to learn to be a learner, a student. And what is required is egoless, uncompromising, total surrender to Guru. That the Guru will humiliate you, instigate you, insult you. He will do all the tricks that are required consciously to eliminate all the rubbish in us. But कहाँ हम सुनते हैं? Guru cannot talk one word which is insulting to us. When Guru insults us, it is not that Guru is insulting, it is only to make us understand that you are an arrogant ego. Then only you are insulted. गुरु ने मेरे को सब में बेइज्जती की, मतलब तुम अपने आप को ईगो मान रहे हो, तभी अपने आप को इज्जत दे रहे हो, उसी का बेइज्जती हुआ. देगा गुरु, इस बेइज्जत करेगा till you lose your ego. But only a surrendered disciple will be given that treatment. है कि नहीं? जो सुपर ऊपर ऊपर डिसाइपल होते हैं, गुरु महाराज पूजा करके उनको मिठाइयाँ देते हैं, वो खा के चले जाते हैं. For a deeper seeker or student, he says, shut up of eating any mithai, do this meditation. That's it. He will scold. Anyway, I am telling you the how thought of it is, but when we seek it, it will happen. What are they? The Shamadamadi, their essentiality on the path of realization, especially when we are with the Guru. But once by the grace of Guru reach the self, uske baad wo natural. So not only for him no thing to be done is there, kimata paramiyate, but including Shamadam also are not compulsion to him. They express to him naturally. Then evam yathoktam swabhava upashantam brahma vidwan shamam upashantim swabhavikim brahmaswarupam vrajet brahmaswarupena avatishtati ityartha. बहुत बड़ा deep, I know, I can't explain that. It takes half an hour. Anyway, this much. Evam yathoktam swabhava upashantam brahma vidwan. Real Swarupa of the Atma, having realized that, till that time, whatever the Jiva with his Swabhava he was expressing, when he dissolved, स्वरूप अनुभव से स्वभाव का उपशांति होने के कारण जो अनुभव मिलता है उसको ब्रह्म स्वरूप कहते हैं. स्वाभाविकीम ब्रह्म स्वरूपम व्रजेत मीन्स ही रिमेन्स ओनली इन दैट. He is in the experience of Swarupa only, he is not bothered about Swabhava. The Swabhava is dissolved. Swabhava means Jiva Bhava. Now the next Karikas are important. The Anubandha Karika or Avatarika. Suno. Ki evam, in this way, what is done in last few slokas? Anyonya Viruddhatvat. This is talked about the other philosophies other than Ajata Ekameva Advayam Brahma Advaita Vedanta. अदर देन एकमेवाद्वयम ब्रह्म अद्वैत अजातवाद वेदांत से हटकर जो बाकी थे, द जैनास बौद्धास, अदर वर्ड्स इज व्हाट? अस्तिवादी नास्तिवादी, अस्ति नास्तिवादी, नास्ति नास्तिवादी, उनके बारे में कह रहे. व्हाट इज दैट? एवं अन्योन्य विरुद्धत्वात्, दे आर म्यूचुअली विरुद्ध टू ईच अदर. संसार कारणानि राग द्वेष दोष उपास्पदा दोषास्पदानि. Because of Anyonya Viruddha, naturally in them there is a tendency to create Raga Dvesha. That Raga Dvesha is samsara. So now see the subtlety. Now such things each one should understand. But if I'm asked to explain, it will become so detailed. Little bit I give you a hint, you understand. कि these all philosophies which are not accepting Ekameva Advayam Brahma, not only as we said Asti Nasti Vadin, but even in Hinduism only, who are holding on to some particular darshana or holding on to some particular Upasya Deva, not believing in one Paramatma behind all Upasya Deva, उन सबको ये होता है. What is done? First thing is one, Anyonya Viruddhatva. They made their watertight type of philosophy in such a way, each one, that they are definitely in virodha with the others. They made it like that. Like Vishnu alone is Bhagwan. Vishnu is Bhagwan, you say is good. When you say Vishnu alone is Bhagwan, then you have made a watertight compartment. Then in that, what is the meaning of it? Vishnu alone is Bhagwan. This Shiva is not Bhagwan. So Shiva वाले भी कहते हैं Shiva alone is Bhagwan, not Vishnu. Then what happened to them? विष्णु भक्त is denying Shiva, Shiva is denying Vishnu. तो दोनों के बीच में विरोध हो गया कि नहीं? In the same way, अस्तिवादी says नास्ति is not there, नास्तिवादी says asti is not there. दोनों को अस्ति नास्ति वाला rejects and all are rejected by नास्ति नास्ति. Are you understanding the meaning of अन्योन्य विरुद्धता? Because they defined their God or their final truth in a conditional manner without experiencing as a concept at the thought level. Never Krishna or Vishnu or Rama and came and told, I am the only God, others are not God. वो आके बताए कि हमने बनाए से बेवकूफ़ी. Remember, whenever Anyonya Viruddha is there, that will definitely will have Raga Dvesha. And wherever Raga Dvesha are there, samsara cannot be avoided. Now, the sarcasm in this used by Karika is those philosophers who are talking their own philosophy to give mukti, and mukti can never achieved without raga dvesha removal, are themselves becoming the cause of bondage by instigating raga dvesha only. परमात्मा राग द्वेष नहीं है तो मिलते हैं कि नहीं? हाँ. और उस परमात्मा के ही साधना में राग द्वेष आने का चांस है. हाउ कैन यू कॉल इट एज साधना? Like I said, the example, a Vishnu Bhakta will reach Vishnu when he is pure in without raga dvesha. बट विष्णु भक्त को उस विष्णु भक्त के गुरु को गुरु कहते हैं कि डोंट लव शिवा, हेट हिम, देन ही इज हैविंग हेट्रेड अबाउट शिवा इन हिज हार्ट, देन हाउ कैन ही रीच विष्णु विद दैट impurity of raga dvesha? Therefore, any conditional philosophies of intellectual concepts, to some extent, they may help in the beginning, but a little later on, they themselves are cause of samsara. Because they are limited, therefore they are opposite to others, therefore they become, they give chance for the raga dvesha to express, they make us suffer. It is true, not only in these philosophies of the conditioned expressions. In Hinduism only, so many Devata upasanas are there, and other than Hinduism. But even in other places also, like a guru started a samstha. Samstha's purpose is only to give them vision of the truth and reality. But in that samstha, when people come with conditioned minds, forget the main goal for which the organization is created or they are there, then they start looking at each other as viruddha. The moment they look at a viruddha, then raga dvesha comes. Then the samstha where you have joined to transcend raga dvesha to know the truth itself becomes a cause of samsara by creating raga dvesha. देखो. If you are tuning to me, you are catching what is being said. अन्योन्य विरुद्ध का कारण के राग द्वेषास्पद है, and they are creating samsara. Therefore, at one level, even when we are as Hindus talk it all ill about any other religion or anything, there also we are creating samsara of raga dvesha. That is not the ultimate truth. That is why never give secondary value to ultimate. Ultimately तो एक ही परब्रह्म तत्व है. Then at little Vyavahara level, whenever you are at the Jiva or Sadhaka emotional level, when you see somebody is troubling Hinduism, naturally we try to be strong there in that way. But the highly evolved person who sees only one truth, he will not see anything other than it. Therefore, he cannot talk the language of Airudhya as well as Ragadvesh. That is why in the true Hinduism, the ultimate truth, if at all expressed in any of the religion, we agree that even the sadhana, we don't need to do it because we have sufficient things for us. We don't fight with them. Our quarrel is only at the lower cadre people who try to destroy ours. And even in Hinduism, if somebody has risen to the highest level of the truth and truth and truth alone, he will not even have the names given also to the different religions. है ना, रिलीजन्स का नाम नहीं होते हैं, एवरीथिंग इज अ पाथ, इज इट नॉट? थ्रू ईच पाथ सूट्स टू समबडी, थ्रू दैट पाथ आई रीच द अल्टीमेट. अब उसको नाम दे के, उसको रूप दे के, उसको कंडीशंस बना के, उसको दूसरों से अलग करा के, फिर दूसरों से इससे वैरुद्ध क्रिएट करके, फिर राग द्वेष करके, these are all decayed philosophies. They are not the highest. In the highest, thou should not talk about anything other than truth. And that's what our Upanishads talk. That's why Upanishad is ultimate. Upanishads don't talk about Hinduism, they talk about the truth. And those Upanishads we claim as ours, therefore we say Hindus and they are our Upanishad. Upanishad never said. We say it is my Rama. Rama never said you are the only one mine. He says all devotees are mine, whoever they may be. I have no difference of caste, creed, religion, nothing. Anyway, subject that way we have expanded. Here the introduction में कहते हैं कि these people are watertight. Therefore, they have opposition with others, which creates raga dvesha. Therefore, those philosophies which are supposed to give liberation, they themselves are becoming cause of bondage through raga dvesha samsara. Therefore, how can they be ultimate? That's how the Karika with this powerful logic has disproved their authority. एवं अन्योन्य विरुद्धत्वात् संसार कारणानि राग द्वेष दोषास्पदानि प्रावादुकानां दर्शनानि. The philosophies of these pravadukas. Therefore, atha mithya darshanani tani. Therefore, those philosophies are pseudo only, not real. Not real means they are not going to give the real realization, freedom from all the bondages. Iti tad yukti biheva darshayitva. All this is proved with all the logics. Chatushkoti Varchitatva. Up to this is the talking about those Pravaduka Darshanas, which are really binding only, not liberating. Now, in contrast to them, ours, Advaita Vedanta. हमारा क्या है इसमें? चतुष्कोटि वर्जितत्वात्. In us, we don't have a concept of those four things. Asti nasti, asti nasti, nasti nasti. We say it's experience. For experience, you have to be deeply contemplating. Guidance for contemplation is given is Upanishads. Upanishad tells about Brahma Tattva. Upanishad tells about Brahma Tattva Swarupa. And it tells that no word can reach that. Even the Upanishad also cannot reach. But it gives the pointers for contemplation. In the contemplation is an arrow. Seated on that contemplation arrow, I myself only reach to the Brahma, which is the goal, which is the experience. That is ours. So in us, Chatushkoti Varjitatvat. In the ours has no Chatushkoti. Therefore, in our philosophy, Raga Adi Dosha Anaspadam. There is no dosha of the Raga Adi. Therefore, Swabhava Shantam. By nature, without any Raga Adi Dosha or Vairudhya, is our absolute ultimate truth of reality. Not again Sampradayavadas of Hinduism, which we explained 10 minutes back. The absolute purest truth is so Swabhava Shantam. Advaita Darshanam eva Samyak Darshanam. So all of them are Mithya Darshanas because on the name of liberation they are binding only. But the Advaita Darshan is Samyak Darshanam, not Mithya Darshanam like that, because Advaita Darshanam to a true Advaitina is not adding to his samsara like the others are adding. To a true Advaitin it only liberates because there are no Raga Dvesha doshas, because there is absolute Shantam. Why it is so? Because there is no conceptualization like asti nasti ityadi. So again, I'll read you. Try to feel by following me. Chatushkoti varjitatvat ragadi dosha anaspadam swabhava shantam advaita darshanam eva samyak darshanam. Iti upasamrutam bhavati. This is how he concluded. So Advaita Darshana alone is greatest. He has come to this conclusion by proving through logic. All other darshanas, because they are limited and conditioned, they oppose others, and in the opposition or vairudya with others, they create ragadvesha, which adds up to samsara. Therefore, that which gives samsara, how can it be samyak darshanam? They are mithya darshanam. But why the Advaita Vedanta is samyak darshanam? It is not mithya. These are the four reasons. There are no chatushkoti in that. Therefore, there is no ragadi dosha. It is absolutely swabhava shantam. Therefore, the Advaita darshanam eva samyak darshanam. This is concluded. In the Advaita drushti, there is no dvaita, there is no vairudhya, there is no ragadvesha, the nirmana. This is the reason because of which every religion of the world, Hinduism accepts. सनातन धर्म के हम सब मानते हैं क्योंकि we see the Advaita only. There's a beauty. We don't fight with anyone. That also may lead to the path or goal. चलो तुम उस रास्ते में. अद्वैत दर्शन करने वाले को कोई भी किसी भी कारण से डिफरेंशिएट नहीं करा सकते. That's why this is the Samyak Darshanam. Iti Upasamrutam. Atha idanim. Now, in contrast to those philosophers, ours is the Samyak. Samyak means correct. Samyak means good. Samyak means great. Samyak means really helpful to get liberation. The Mithya means unreal on the name of liberation. It only gives you bondage. That's what Mithya. Now, this ours is Samyak Darshanam is proved with regard to, in contrast with the Asamyak Mithya Darshanas of them. नेक्स्ट श्लोक में क्या कह रहे हैं? अथ इदानीम नौ स प्रक्रिया प्रदर्शनार्थ आरंभ. नो बाय नॉट टेकिंग द नॉन अद्वैत philosophers into the account, focusing fully only on the Advaita, Advaita's prakriya is again once more explained. These 5 shlokas are very typical shlokas, in which again using the Jagra Sapna Sushupti Avasthas as the beginning point, which was done in the first Prakarana itself, slowly how by knowing them and devaluing them and rising above them, the fourth state of Turiya or Atma is experienced. He is focusing. While telling all this, he will not discuss at all about other नॉन अद्वैत फिलोसफीज. वो हो गया, उनको समझा दिए, उनसे हमारा बेटर है करके प्रूव कर दिए, हो गया. Like in general also, when we say the glory of Hinduism compared to other, after that we not talk about others. In our Hinduism, what are those glorious things? Know them and practice and reach the ultimate. अब बाकी बात करने क्या जरूरत है? So here, no more taking into account the other philosophies. Purely अद्वैत philosophy क्या है, उसका क्या करने से that अद्वैत दर्शन होकर मुक्ति होता है. Here the Karikara is saying from next 5-6 श्लोकास. उसका शुरुआत क्या है? सवस्तु सोपलंभम च द्वयम लौकिकमिष्यते अवस्तु सोपलंभम च शुद्धम लौकिकमिष्यते. So what is he doing is, in this first shloka, he is talking about savastu sobana, jagrada and swapnavastha. The next shloka will talk about turiya, sutti, sushupti avastha and turiya. Then how to rise from these 3 avasthas to the ultimate, he will guide to us. This is how the next 5-6 shlokas, from the understanding standpoint and sadhana standpoint, they give some typical clear guidance. What it is, tomorrow we will see. अवस्थनुपलम्बं च लोकोत्तरमिति स्मृतं ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च विज्ञेयं सदा बुद्धैः प्रकीर्तितं ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञताय सर्वत्र भवति यः महादियः हेयाज्ञेयाप्यपाक्यानि विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः तेषामन्यत्र विज्ञेयात् उपलम्बस्त्रिषु स्मृतः प्रकृत्याकाशवज्ञेयाः सर्वे धर्मा अनादयः विद्यते न हि नानात्वं तेषां क्वचन किञ्चन आदिबुद्धाः प्रकृतेव सर्वे धर्माः सुनिश्चिताः यस्यैवं भवति क्षान्ति सोमृतत्वाय कल्पते. आदिशान्ताः नुत्पन्नाः प्रकृत्येव सुनिर्वृताः सर्वे धर्माः समाभिन्नाः अजं साम्यं विशारदं वैशारद्यं त्वयि नास्ति भेदे विचरतां सदा भेदनिम्ना पृथग्वादाः तस्मात् ते गुणाः स्मृताः अजय साम्ये तु एकेचित् भविष्यन्ति सुनिश्चिताः ते हि लोहे माज्ञानाः तच्च लोको न गायते अजय श्रमच संक्रान्तं धर्मेषु ज्ञानमिष्यते यतो न कर्मते ज्ञानम् असङ्गं तेन कीर्तितम् अणुमात्रेऽपि वैधर्म्ये जायमाने उपस्थितः असङ्गता सदा नास्ति किमुता अवर्णच्युते अलब्धावरणाः सर्वे धर्माः प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः आदौ बुद्धाः सदा मुक्ताः मुह्यन्ते इति नायकाः क्रमतेन बुद्धस्य ज्ञानं धर्मेषु भक्तायिनः सर्वे धर्माः सदा ज्ञानं नैतद्बुद्धेन भाषितं दुर्दर्शमति गम्भीरम् अजं साम्यं विशारदम् बुद्ध्वापदमनानात्वं नमस्कुर्म यथा बलम् इति श्री गौडपादे कारिका समेत माण्डुक्योपनिषदि चतुर्थम् अलाथ शांति प्रकरणं चतुर्थम् अलाथ शांति प्रकरणं समाप्तम्. We'll see it slowly little. Thank you. सर्वं भगवत् चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. ओम 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 पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो परमर्षिभ्यो परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे मंडुकमहर्षे गौडपादाचार्यवर्य आदिशंकरद्गुरुभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तत्सद्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. 10 minutes we'll take for Vituraniti.